I hope you're not sensitive, because this is going to be really scummy. What we're about to do is messed up, alright? This is sleazy. I know, this is a scummy thing to do, okay? I know! Sometimes I feel like there's a man inside of me. Sometimes I feel like there's multiple men inside of me. And that I'm very violent. That's what I feel like. I just have a natural violence inside of me. And I've tried to fight that. That's just who I am. Be who you are. Don't try to be somebody else. Sometimes I just want to go off, you know? I just want to do a little wrestle. I just want to get in the ring. But I don't want to hurt you. I don't want to hurt anybody. But sometimes I just feel like there's multiple men filling me up. Urgh! You know. So today we're going to be talking about background design. Alright, so I'm going to teach you get a little turnt about how to do your backgrounds for your characters. You know, you've got your Instagram characters, your TikTok characters. You want to put a background on them, but you don't want to use perspective, alright? Because you're a scumbag. Well, I'm going to teach you how to be a little scumbag. I would really highly recommend not doing what I'm about to show you. It's very offensive, and not a lot of people are going to like it. Come on, let's go. Alright, so I'm going to take these two characters, right, Sean. They're from two really cool designers right here. Go check them out. And I'm going to put a background on both of these suckers. I'm going to show you my process of how I cheat the system and be a little scumbag. So I'm going to show you a little example right now of some real basic artists that do real basic backgrounds. Okay, so here's what not to do, right? Sam, what is that? Gray? What is this one? That's another, like a gray thing. Where are they? Where are they in gray land? Bro, stars? You're doing stars now, and it's just a bunch of little dots. Oh, dang, sick background, dude. Look at that. What is that? Wow, look at that background. Using somebody else's artwork as your background. That's very tasty. I'd like to see that lawsuit. Just embarrassing, dude. It's just freaking embarrassing, man. It's like that. Well, it's like got a world. It's a little environment. What is that? Elevator land? There's still a lot of gray. There's still a lot of gray in there. Oh, shit. Okay, well, he's kind of like a bad example now. But, alright, like this one from Ramon right here. What the heck are you even doing, bro? Where are you? You're like in a cloud? Where are they living in your head? If you don't know how to build an environment, that's okay. If you're too scared, if you don't understand perspective, obviously, then you don't have to do anything. Like this, where are they even standing? Where are they even standing, dude? Where are the feet? Oh my god, it's so embarrassing. Like this, he doesn't even understand perspective even. Well, that might be kind of a bad example too. Okay, well, sometimes you get lucky, you know, when you're doing the backgrounds. Alright, well, he's not the best example either, but you know. Alright, there's two ways to go about this, right? If you want to study perspective and you want to do all this stuff all proper and whatnot, then you're going to go and study actually good pro artists. Look at this nice perspective here. Everything's flowing in this nice perspective grid. That's cool. That's kind of cool, right? How does this perspective work? Wow, it's an organic perspective. Wow, that's a lot of skill. This one's got a 3 points perspective. Wow, that's really cool. Maybe we should learn that. Forget about it. Forget about learning all this crap. You don't need it. So that's the pro way, okay? And this is the basic way, and that's you. This is you right here. Alright, so where do you steal from to get your backgrounds, right? Well, there's like 4 different ways you can do it here. For you got some photos. Everybody goes on, you know, the Pinterest and then gets the photos. We're not going into that today. We don't care about that right now. And then there's animation, straight up from like an animation film TV show background artist. Pretty good possibility we're gonna steal straight from you. Alright, it's kind of tickling me to steal from the animation, so let's keep that one in mind. Another one is pro artists. You just straight up steal from their backgrounds and stuff that they've designed. This is another really good tactic. I like this tactic a lot. They never see it coming typically. And the other one is 3D. Okay, I'm not gonna go into 3D. I don't know how to use 3D. I don't know how to build stuff in 3D. I don't care. But there's a really cool way in the Project City classes that I use 3D where you don't even need to know how to use 3D. Okay, so the very first thing I want you to do, right, is to take somebody else's character and try to do this process. Take somebody else's character, take somebody else's background, and try to do this process. That way you're not so, like, attached to it, and you're able to let your brain learn without judging yourself, because this is gonna be really scummy. All right, I hope you're not sensitive. What we're about to do is messed up. All right, but don't be no, it's okay. Don't be sensitive. Don't be scared. It's okay. I got you. Donk. This is a quick reminder that I do portfolio reviews, art reviews every single Wednesday on Project City Story Sprint. Donk. Who drew this? Speak up.
That would be me.
What's your name, son?
I'm Roger.
Roger. Is that your real name?
I think so.
Yeah. Who do you think you are? Who do you think you are?
I think.
No, I don't want to. Do you think that you're Sunflower Guy?
I think.
I don't want to answer that. Do you think you're Spider-Man? Is that what you think?
What?
Do you think you're Spider-Man?
I don't know.
Goofy sunflower, raisin-looking thing. Is this what you want to be? This is your aspiration? That's what you want to be when you grow up? A sunflower. Oh, everybody, look. He wants to be a sunflower. At some point during the class, I'm going to abuse you a little bit. Who drew this?
I drew it.
You think this is what I look like? This looks like a child. It looks like a child drew a child. Go ahead, cry. Cry at me. Does anybody else want to cry?
I am so scared right now.
No more crying. This video is sponsored by me. Support me and help support my students. All right, so we got this background here, right? The very first thing is recognizing what's a bad background to use, what's a good background to use. This is going to help you kind of learn perspective intuitively. This way you can kind of try out paintings and compositions way before you ever have to do anything. You know, don't try to reinvent the wheel here, okay? Everybody's already done everything. All right, so just try to get learned in the process. Okay, quit whining about it, all right? It's not that bad. All right, so we got our background in here. I'm going to put it right about there, and that's pretty much it. You're done. You have a background for your character. No. That's wrong. That's not the end of the process. If you're just thinking that, then that's wrong, what you just thought. You're not even close to being done. You know why? Look at the perspective. What are you, silly? The perspective's going down this way. How is that even a background? Why did you even think that? Don't even think like that. Okay, but what if I bring it up like this? Okay, now we're kind of getting somewhere, right? It's called intuitive perspective. So you know this looks wrong. You don't even know perspective. You just know this looks wrong. Here? Oh, we're kind of sitting eye level here. Okay, this is kind of looking like a background we could use. Now you're starting to understand. Okay. All right, so my point is this background's got too much perspective in it, all right? Use your brain here, all right? Don't go overboard with this. So we're not going to use it with this character. Let's see if we can use it with this character. So I'm going to blow up this background here. All right, so I've manipulated the background a little bit to my liking, and I kind of like this composition, right? Like she's sitting on the edge of this. So we're basically going to create a whole new painting out of one painting. And this isn't the end of the process, all right? Don't worry. It's going to get a little less scummy later, but this is a good way to kind of help you learn while you can make new compositions and stuff like that in the process, you know what I'm saying? So I'm going to take this foreground element and kind of stick it here. Boom, boom, boom. And now I'm going to take the background, maneuver that around to where I like it. It's kind of cool. Like now I can make multi-level backgrounds with a foreground element. Look, I can kind of make the building go back into space. I'm flipping it back and forth. Okay, so we're going to manipulate this sucker later. I'm going to leave this as it is right here, and I'm going to make a new one. All right, here's a pretty sick anime background. Let's use this one. Dunk. All right, it's pretty simple. I'm going to blow this sucker up. Bring the feet down a little bit. All right, but she's sitting kind of flat here, right? So you got to have the little bit of perspective intuition here. I'm going to blow up the bottom of this sucker. I'm going to have it coming towards us more. All right, this one's pretty much done for now. And if you're smart, if you're thinking about it, you're going to notice this pattern. The pattern is fairly flat background, flat like that, flat like that. Similar to this one, pretty darn flat. All right, let's move on to this character design background right here. The perspective obviously isn't going to fit. The background's just like it just doesn't fit, right? There's a bed back here. What the heck is going on? Use your intuition, use your little brain and figure out, you know, this isn't the right background for me. All right, but let's try this background. I like this one right here. I'm going to stick this sucker behind. I'm going to blow this sucker up. Okay, it kind of looks like we're sitting in a market almost, right? Okay, so I kind of stretched out the background. I kind of manipulated the background just a little bit. And I set it right about here. So it kind of looks like we're in a market, you know? And then I made this little cup. I made it blurry. And I stuck it in the foreground. So you kind of get this foreground, midground, background element. All right? This is sleazy. I know, this is a scummy thing to do, okay? I know. But this is all for learning. All right, so I'm gonna show you the next step here in a second. All right, so the very first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna color grade this in the way that I want it. All right, let's be real simple about this. All right, we're gonna add an effect called selective color. So I'm gonna put this sucker on the background, and I'm gonna move around the different dinkles here. Okay, so this is the first one, and then this is with the filter on, off, on. Okay, I'm gonna just make it a little bit more blue tingy. All right, next I'm gonna go to filter, noise, dust and scratches. So what dust and scratches does is it takes out all the details, right? All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start rearranging this composition to what I like. Maybe expand it over here. I'm going to grab this light post. See, I can kind of move it around. I don't really like the way the ground is sitting, so I'm going to try to adjust that. So obviously, as stuff gets closer to you, right? it's going to get a little bit bigger. So I'm going to try to make the ground seem like it's kind of coming at us here. All right, and so here I've made a little multiply layer under the feet just so there looks like there's contact shadow, right? They can't just be floating there. There's got to be connected to the environment. All right, now that I got my composition down, I'm going to be starting to grab other elements, and then I'm going to use those within the environment. So the reason that we're kind of doing this to learn, right, is to be able to use like all the colors and all of the values that are in this background painting and learn from that. Let me grab this light here. Let me show you a little skink. So I'm going to grab this light. I'm going to blow this sucker up. Now I'm going to start changing up the composition in the background a little bit and changing the shapes. So this is what it looked like before, and this is what it looks like after. Before, after. So let's say you have your character, you got your character drawn out here, and you're trying to create a new background, but you're trying to learn in the process. If you want to keep it at this and say, oh yeah, I painted this background all on my own. I did all this all by myself, right out of my noggin. All right, if you want to do that, then go ahead and do it. You little nasty little sack. Alright, but if you don't want to be a little nasty sack of something, then this is the next step. This is what you're supposed to do. Try to redraw this background and try to learn from this process. So you've already got all the composition and stuff figured out, and basically you're creating a final image and you're making sure that image looks good before you put all the effort into trying to paint it or whatever. So basically you're learning from a professional, learning, the structure and kind of like composition and color and values and stuff that's in this piece, but at the same time you're kind of having fun and learning in the process. So I'm just gonna put the masses down. I'm gonna maybe add a few, like maybe I want a couple more signs on there. This is where you should be creative and try to invent some of your own stuff. Now in a perfect world you would break down the perspective or whatever, but you're too lazy for that, obviously. All right, look how I'm doing these stepping lines, right? I've drawn the lines and now I make them grow. I grow the lines towards me. All right, now that I got the background kind of drawn out, now here's for the hard part, okay? So traditionally you go outside and paint. It's called plein air painting. You go outside and you try to look at the colors and then match the colors. Well, we're gonna try to do the same thing here. So instead of me coming over here and color picking and dropping in these colors or whatever, I'm going to try to paint just straight off by my eyeball. Very first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to find the overall color scheme of this. This is how I start painting. I find it, which is this blue right here. Okay, so this is an important part of the process. All right, pay attention. This is the part where you get really turned up. Instead of going over there and picking your color wheel, picking these colors like a little trash bag, I'm going to try to find the color right here. And this is cool because it really helps you focus on what colors actually are. So this is what I like to do. I like to paint over here, and I'm like, okay, yeah, this looks like the overall background. And then you paint right there, and it's like, oh, man. Look at that. Look how different that is. Oh, but look at this. Up here, oh, man, I nailed it. Look, that's almost the exact same value, the exact same color. Whew, I've been doing this for a bit, though. But let's try to get this color in here. So this is where you get really learnt up, right? You think things are so blue or so saturated, but then you get up in this thing and you're like, oh man, this is gray. This bitch is gray. Oh, look at that. That's it right there. I think I found it. Let's go. Look at the difference in that. All right, there we go. We got our base. We got everything that's in the background. Now we're going to work our way towards us. All right, what color are these trees right here? Maybe, I'm thinking greenish, right? But a little bit less saturated. Yeah, I don't know, man. It might be blue. That's looking all right. Oh, look at that. Oh, I pretty much nailed that sucker. I'm just going to rough paint in these trees right here. All right, next step, the bushes, baby. Let's try to get the bushes. And we're going to do the same thing with the bushes, too. We're going to try to find the darkest value. I'm not going to go straight up in here and paint light green or whatever. I'm going to try to find the darkest value and work my way up from that. That's just how I do. So I've selected my green over here, so I know what it is. Don't cheat. What do you do? Are you trying to learn? Are you trying to just copy somebody else's work? All right, so I'm going to mix it up. Whoa, where is it? All right, so look here. I'm a little bit in the yellow section, right? But as if you're in a blue environment, it's not going to be hot. It's not going to be hot on that scale, baby. You got to work your way up towards the blue, just a little. And it's not very saturated. I can tell just by looking. All right, I'm going with this green right here. Let's see. Oh, that's like a mid-tier. All right, I'm looking for this highlight over here. So let's see if I can find the highlight of that. Almost. It's a little bit too blue for my liking, right? That's got a little bit more warmth in it. This is too blue. And once you do this more and more, you're going to start to kind of recognize. So what I like to do is gradients at first, so I can just kind of get like the overall lightest to darkest. All right, and the sign back here, I'm adding some kind of fancy writing on it. All right, you don't have to copy everything. That's not the point of this. All right, it's to take the local colors, the local values that they use in the original painting, and you're kind of using that as a guideline to help you learn. All right, think about it. Okay, so the point of this, don't do this willy-nilly. I mean, like, look at this pole, okay? Don't just paint this pole and not study the original pole. So what is going on here in this original pole? You have 2 different sources of light. That's all you need to know. This one is like a key light. It's like a really strong light, whatever this color is right here. And then over here is almost like a cooler fill light. So look at the difference. This one's hotter. This one right here is pretty hot, okay? Right here in the green. This one, oh, that's blue. That's gray blue right there. Gray blue on the right side with this fill light. And then the other side is a little bit more hot. And in the middle, that's where the shadow is actually sitting, because it's getting hit by light from both sides. And that's going to be more saturated and a bit darker right there. Alright, so if I take all those 3 colors right there, and then I cut this pole in half, and then I cut this pole's sides off, you know, just cut it right off. And then back there we got a pretty well-rounded pole. Now you can turn off your lines. Now you got what we call local values, you know what I'm saying? Basically local values. You don't have any details in there or whatever, so at this point you can just blur this thing out, and it can be like a nice blurry background or whatever. But if you want to go a step further, this is where you can make crap glow. Alright, and if you want more bang for your buck, you're obviously not done, right? You go in and study the original and study how they do their brush marks and stuff like that. Like these bushes here, there's these multi-layer. You got this, and then you got the core shadow of the bush down this side. And then over here, there's a little bit of a cool blue instead of a green over there that's kind of lighting up that other side of the bush. And if you don't like what you made, then just be a piece of trash and blur out your background. You'll be fine. Alright, go have fun.